So here we've got two new releases from Orient, and they're not just new releases, these are like really quite special watches, and that's for two reasons. Number one, these I think are both 75th anniversary models, but the second thing is really what they've done as a result of them being that, because Orient has made one significant change that I think a fair few of you may be pleased with. Now this one shipped in a separate box with a couple of other things, but I haven't had any sort of close look at it yet, and this one here I haven't seen at all, so yeah, let's crack it open, eh? Now both of these are on loan from Tuss Watches, so thanks to them. You'll find a link to both these watches on their store in the video description. They always tend to have the latest releases in pretty much as soon as they drop. They're really good, I've used them a number of times before. Now let's start with this one first, and you can see here the packaging already is slightly different. Maybe that gives it away. So yeah, you'll see here it's not just a different style of box, there's also quite a difference as far as logos go. Now the main logo that Orient typically uses, I will show you on screen now, and this logo is pretty divisive. It's not up there with some of the weird Chinese brands or anything, but it's certainly one that has put a fair few people off. Not me personally, I've always quite liked the coat of arms effect. Don't think this is exactly what's on all the watches though. I think it may just be the text, so let's have a quick look. So here we go, this is the first model of the pair, and probably the least good looking out of the two, I'd say. This is, I think, what they refer to as the Bambino Sun and Moon, although Orient have never been the best at naming their products. Now, the normal 10 past 10 position doesn't really suit this watch. Let's flip it around a bit further. Now, this is a hand-drawn version of the Orient logo. No symbol at all, actually, on this, even if it does come with the old tag. And apparently this is the type of logo that this brand used back in the 50s, so pretty much when it was founded. And I think for some that may be better. Now I have looked at this watch before, the Orient Sun and Moon, and it's a fairly decent watch. I'd say though, this particular colorway looks better than the last one I looked at. One of the improvements is the strap here. I noticed straight away this has got like a suede outer and then more of a typical soft leather inner. And it's got quick release tabs too, so I'm sure that's part of the slight price increase. Oh, and you actually get the standard strap in the box as well, so yeah, that's the first for Orient watches, as far as I can remember. This one's just more of the typical croc effect calf leather. Not the best, kind of has a slight plasticiness to it. Looks like it may be a 21mm lug width from the looks of this, but we'll get that measurement in a second. But out of the two straps, I do think this kind of beige suede one or nubuck, definitely the way to go with that. Looks great. I still think that the second watch here is the one that most of you are going to be interested in, probably the one I'll chuck on the thumbnail, but I'll give you a nice close-up look of this one to start with, because it has got some good stuff going on there. Particularly like the depth of that day of the week indicator there. Very deep, deeper than I remember. Okay, the sizes, and then I'll quickly run you through the specs if I can find them. 41.5 wide, 47.3mm lug to lug, and then thickness with the crystal does look a bit thicker than most Bambinos, 14.3, and without it, somewhere around 11mm, I'd say. As for the specs, that's a domed mineral crystal, apparently. The movement inside this is the F6B24, and you can see that here through the exhibition rear. Now it also says Orient 75th anniversary, and I just want to check if that's on the sticker, if that's actually on the case back. Oh, and it's actually on the case back there, as you can see. Stainless steel case, only 30 meters water resistance with this. It's limited to 5,500 pieces, which is fairly limited, but I've definitely seen a lot more special edition watches recently with far fewer units than that. Apparently this movement has a 40-hour power reserve. Looks a lot like loads of the other F6 movements, so I imagine in most ways it's basically the same, apart from you do have that moon phase there. And apparently it has like a limited edition serial number engraving, which it does just on this side. This is currently selling on the Tuss site for £389, and the strap is surprisingly good, definitely like a custom job on this. But let's get to the one that you've been waiting for. Now, the Orient Bambino, the more standard Bambino, is a watch whose minimalism has often been marred by the logo, or at least according to some people. And guess what? Orient has done the same with that watch. And here we go. This is the new limited edition version of the Bambino without the lion logo. And I have to say, I mean, I was a bit of a skeptic at first when I first saw this handwritten logo online, but now it's on the watch. I I think maybe it does look better, yeah. Not by a huge amount. I think it just about edges it for me. I could really go either way, but I quite like the handwritten logo there. And I really like the colour scheme again. Not normally one for rose gold, really. And you'll notice that all the hour markers are rose gold on this. Not sure whether it's the dial colour or the strap colour that kind of makes it work, but something does. Would love to know what you think in the comments section below. I'll see if I can find a regular Bambino. Hang on. So here's one I've got close at hand. This is the 38mm Bambino. And that one still has the standard Orient logo on. Would love to know what you think in the comments, which logo you would take, if any. I think maybe the automatic, though, on this one is unnecessary. The fact it's also a similar length to the word Orient does clash a little bit. I wonder if they just scraped that off completely. But aside from that, I think it's very good looking, quite classic as well. They've chosen some more of the classic styles for this revamp, and I think it looks good. I don't know why. It also looks thinner, but maybe it isn't. Maybe the crystal's lower? Because it feels very flat in the hands, this. Now, it is bigger than the 38. This is more like the standard sized Bambinos. I think they were 40.5, and this is, yeah, 40.4, so yeah, it's going to be very similar. 46.6 lug to lug. Sadly, both of these do seem to have the 21mm lug width, which means you're going to be fairly limited when it comes to third-party strap replacements. Not many brands make straps in odd sizes. And let's check that thickness. 12.3 with the crystal, and then without it, I know the old one was about 9mm. That's more like about 8.5, so they may or may not have slimmed that down. I'll put it on screen. I'll have to check back at the footage of my old 40.5mm version. Definitely looks thinner. Maybe it's just a result of the colour. Also has the display case back there. Not the most exciting movement in the world, obviously. So it's actually an F6724. It's all based on the same sort of movement technology as the other Orient Bambinos. It's actually quite a decent movement all in all. A lot of people, myself included, would probably take these over the entry-level Seiko and Miyota movements. These just tend to be more accurate for whatever reason. This one is limited to slightly more pieces, 9,500, so it's not all that limited, really. I guess Orient is expecting this will do quite well. Again, 3-bar water resistance, stainless steel construction. But let's see which looks better on the wrist. My first thoughts are, I do like these. I love the strap again. I feel like it's the perfect match. There's the sun and moon to kick things off. Easily the best version of this watch, no question. You can see the sun peeping through there too. I think maybe the rose gold markers might just be a little bit off-putting for some people. And of course, these watches are not the highest specs for the price. I'd say this one wears small for a 41 point something watch. My wrist is only 6¼ inches. That super short lug to lug, as you can see there, means that even I don't get any overhang with that. It is a little bit bulbous though, you can see, not nearly as slim as the other watch, or at least it doesn't feel nearly as slim, but it looks good. It does look like a watch that would cost this much money, even if they could have used the sapphire crystal on this one. Especially given it's a special edition, you'd think they might have lobbed that on there too. Now, I'm assuming this watch normally comes in the same packaging as the other watch. You just sent me a couple of other Orients as well I'm going to take a look at in a future video. Bettered them up to save on shipping costs. Now, this one does cost less. This is currently £299 on the TUS website. I would read you the code name, but frankly, the code names are a joke. Let's just call this the 75th anniversary Bambino. I think this thing looks very, very slick. I mean, considering it's, you know, like a 75th and they're kind of going with the 50s design language, still think maybe 40.5 is quite big. I thought maybe something with the case size of the 38 might have just been more of an accurate reissue, if you like. But I still think a lot of people are going to like this. Especially for people with more average size wrists. My arm is pretty small. Does have that real slimness going for it. The strap is easily got enough variety to fit my thin wrist there. I actually have a hole spare, even though this watch is arguably a bit too big for me. But there's plenty of holes to choose from. So yeah, pretty impressed with that. And a closer look at the dial there. Has a ever so slight white/cream sunburst. Not quite champagne, I wouldn't say. They just call it white dial here. Definitely has a hint of creaminess to it. Overall, the look is maybe slightly better than I expected. Again, just has a domed mineral crystal, I believe. Yeah, domed mineral crystal on the back. And again, the typical 30 meters water resistance, which all these Bambinos tend to have. I think this might be the first video on YouTube covering these in any sort of depth. And all in all, they're not half bad. I mean, they're not the best bang for the buck versus the Chinese brands or anything, but I think these two do look very elegant, very well considered with all the colours and that, and some of the extras are appreciated too. So yeah, I'll link these in the video description. Cheers to TUS Watches for loaning these out.